Namaste. So today we'll be starting the exposition of the 20th Sutra of the Sadhana Pada. The Sutra is about the Purusha, who is the Grahitra. We understood that the Purusha is the Grahitra, or the pure consciousness. The nature of this Purusha is kind of explained in this sutra. How is the Purusha defined? Because in the last sutra we have seen the nature of Prakriti, right? What was the nature of Prakriti? We saw that Prakriti had the gunas, right? And it had evolutes, Vishesha, Avishesha, Lingamatra, Alingani, Gunaparvani. So we understood about the nature of the Prakriti. Now, Sage Patanjali is trying to define the nature of the Purusha. Once we understand the nature of the Prakriti and Purusha, we'll know how these two come together and what is the cause of the union and how it can be handled. We have seen that in the starting of this pada, we have seen that one has to do Kriya Yoga for getting into the states of Samadhi, and there are kleshas because of which we enter into all kinds of suffering and pain. They explained about the 5 kleshas, and they went on to explain how these form and what are the causes of all these aspects. Then they explained about the nature of Prakriti. Now we are seeing the explanation of the nature of Purusha. So in this sutra, Drashta is the Purusha. Drishimatraha. Drishimatraha is what? Drishimatraha is the aspect which comes into the cognition of Purusha. Okay. Drashta, Drishimatraha. Drishimatraha means what is happening here is the Purusha is not participating in anything. What is the Purusha doing? Trying to act as a witness. He is not involved in anything that is happening. He's just trying to be a witness of whatever is happening with the buddhi and other evolutes of Prakriti. Okay, that is Drishimatraha. He's only a pure witness. The pure consciousness, which is Drashta, is a witness. Okay, so it has merely the power associated with witnessing, but it does not indulge in anything or transmutate or transform into something which we saw with the nature of Prakriti. Purusha doesn't have all that. Purusha is devoid of all that. Purusha remains as pure consciousness, and it is eternal. It doesn't undergo any transmutations like that of Prakriti. So Purusha, who's that pure witness, Shuddho api. Shuddho. The word Shuddho comes from Shuddha. Shuddha means pure. The aspect which is pure. What is pure referring to? Pure is referring to Purusha, the purity of the Purusha. Pure, the quality pure, is referring to Purusha. Purusha's nature is pure. It has a nature of witnessing. Okay. Api is even though. Even though. Pratyaya. Pratyaya is the cognition that is happening in the buddhi. What is happening in the buddhi? The buddhi, whichever object it comes in contact with, the buddhi is cognizing all that aspect, right? It is conceptualizing, cognizing all that. Anupashchaha. And Anupashchaha is the availability or the Purusha being available to see all that drama which the buddhi is unfolding. Getting it? So here they are trying to define the nature of the Purusha by saying that Drashta, the seer or the Purusha, is Drishimatraha, is the mere witness. It has the power of witnessing. Shuddha. Shuddha means pure. Api. Also, or even though. even though pratyayanupaschaha, the cognition lies with the buddhi, the cognizing aspect is done by buddhi. Anupaschaha, so sees over whatever is presented as cognition in the buddhi. So because Purusha is very close to buddhi, with the diagram that I was explaining, you saw the proximity of Purusha and buddhi, right? So because of that proximity of buddhi and Purusha, whatever is being cognized in buddhi, the Purusha becomes a witness to that. Though it is pure, though Purusha in itself doesn't do anything, it is not cognizing, it is not getting into any of what buddhi is doing, but because of that proximity to the buddhi, it is able to see whatever is happening with the buddhi. Okay. So here, the experiencer, who is the Purusha, the nature of the Purusha, as we know, is eternal, it is immutable, it is not moving or transmittable. So like Prakriti, it is exactly opposite. It does not transmutate, it is not moving, it is not changing its form like that of the evolutes of Prakriti. So here, as the Purusha is transmitted into an object, it appears to imitate Buddhi's function. You're getting it? Because of the closeness of Purusha and Buddhi, it appears as if Purusha is imitating the Buddhi's vritti. Getting it? It appears to the people who are...
Ma'am, I didn't get the last word, anupashya.
Anupashchaha is the Purusha will oversee. The Purusha is the Purusha overseeing whatever is presented by the Buddhi. The Purusha is the one who is seeing whatever the Buddhi is doing. Just imagine, to visualize this particular...
Here Purusha means Atma, you are telling.
Huh? Anupashchaha means just imagine a mirror. Okay, just imagine. I will use a jam file for this. Just give me a second.
And can we say that the Purusha is getting misled by the Buddhi? Though its purity is there, the Buddhi kind of showing a colored vision to Purusha, and Purusha is getting carried away.
Yeah, yeah. That is all because of the impurity that is lying in the buddhi.
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
So I'll just show what is happening. I might not be able to draw a very good picture, but I will try to explain it with a picture. See now, for example, think this aspect to be Purusha. Okay. And the first evolute of Prakriti, which is Buddhi, is like a mirror. I'm not good with this, but I'm trying my best to make it. So, because of the proximity, the closeness of Purusha and the first evolute of Prakriti, which is Buddhi. This is Purusha. Okay. And this is Buddhi. So what exactly is this? This is a mirror. Okay. So when the Buddhi has that close proximity with Purusha, the reflection of Purusha comes into Buddhi. Getting it? The reflection of Purusha comes into buddhi. It looks as if both are the same element. Okay, it looks as if both are the same aspect because of that proximity. This is when the tadadrashtu swarupe avasthanam happens, the exact reflection. When the buddhi is so clean, the purusha is directly reflected into that buddhi, which is just like a mirror, a mirror which has the superior quality, best quality mirror. Okay, there is no kind of contortion or distorted view of the purusha. But think, for example, instead of this, okay, there is a mirror which is like this, and it is broken or has some kind of vrittis or vikritis, you can say. Okay, so here now, how the purusha's reflection is here also. Purusha's reflection is here also. And this buddhi is in close proximity with some other object. Maybe it is seeing a heap of gold. Okay, wait. Yeah. So it is cognizing a heap of gold, which because of its past samskaras and vasanas and all that, what is it trying to do? The sense of sight, which is the jnanendriya related to the sense of sight, which are the eyes. Okay, the eyes will look at the heap of gold and send a message. The buddhi gets to cognize what this is. Okay, this also forms an impression in the buddhi. Getting it? Okay, what is it doing to the existing thing, whatever is there?
Actually, the original reflection was covered with another one.
You're getting it? There are multiple cognitions that the buddhi is taking. When these are not existing, we cut off from these things. That is when this becomes possible. This becomes possible. This is tadadrashtu swarupe avasthanam. The pure nature of the purusha is completely reflected in the buddhi. Okay, but when it is when the evolutes of prakriti are being used, which are the jnanendriyas and the karmendriyas are being used, what are we doing? We are going into bhoga aspect, right? We are going into bhoga. Bhoga, what is it doing? It is putting us into experiences, right? Experiences which are pleasurable and painful. Those are actually creating, all that cycle, right? Avidya, klesha, and from klesha we have all kinds of pain and suffering coming up, right? And that creates samskaras, and those samskaras get into the process of they become stronger and get into the vipaka state, and after they become jati, ayu, and bhoga, the experiences come forth. They create karmashaya and they come forth, they manifest. Right. So what is happening here? The actual reflection of the purusha, which is supposed to be in the buddhi, which is the buddhi, just like a very clean, high quality mirror. Here, the buddhi is now tainted. It is painted with something else, another thing. Okay, it is showing all kinds of distorted, contorted visions. Okay, which are not helping the person realize the purusha. Instead, they are pulling the person away from that purusha. Okay, why we are trying all these things is because we want to separate from here. We don't want all these aspects. The samadhi samskaras are against all, these are all vyuthana samskaras. Okay, one by one, we know we have seen the samadhi states, which was like the sampragnata samadhi, savitarka, savichara, sa ananda, sasmita samadhis, and then we understood about after all this is worked out, then the buddhi also, the discriminatory wisdom also is left, right? And then that is when the purusha is the person who is practicing will kind of cut off from the evolutes of prakriti. Okay, will cut off from the evolutes of prakriti and totally dwell in this is the scenario when tadadrashtu swarupe avasthanam happens. Okay, so there is no need of any prakriti aspect to come into play when the final stage is attained, which is the asampragnata samadhi. But here anupashchaha is the aspect where the purusha is able to see all this happening, whatever the buddhi is taking into its purview, all that the purusha is seeing. To the outsider it looks as if the purusha is also like this. You're getting it? The purusha is completely tainted, dented, has become impure. It looks as if it's like that. You're getting it? Please respond.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is all because of the proximity of the purusha and also the buddhi receiving the impressions of the consciousness by grasping it, and because of the imitation in the buddhi's function and not distinguishable from purusha, that is what is making them both look alike. Like purusha and buddhi look similar. Whatever is happening in buddhi also looks like the purusha is also going through all of that, but in reality the purusha doesn't go through anything. Okay, the buddhi is the one which has to go through all these changes. Okay, both are very different. The nature of the purusha is chetana. The nature of the buddhi is jada. Okay, so this is consciousness. Purusha is the consciousness aspect. I'll take another marker. What is happening to this? Just give me a second. Okay. So what is Chetna? Chetna is the pure consciousness. Okay. Pure consciousness. And what is Buddhi? Buddhi is the evolute of Prakriti. Isn't it different? So this pure consciousness is not born out of something. It is existing on its own. Okay, it does not change, it does not mutate, it does not change its form into anything else. But the aspect of prakriti, which is buddhi, is based on prakriti's evolute. It changes its form depending on what is coming close to it. Like one side there is always purusha, but also because of our karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, the effects that we have due to the kleshas, the karmashaya, the vrittis that are going on and all that, we get into different kinds of cognitions, which are sometimes viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, smriti, all that. Okay, pratyaksha, all these aspects. So the vrittis that we have learned, everything the buddhi is undergoing, right? So put in so many different kinds of aspects like vrittis, kleshas, all those things, the buddhi is never clean. So what are we trying to do through the practices of yoga is clean up all these aspects which the Prakriti has created, so that the last evolute or the first evolute of the Prakriti in evolution, or the last aspect of Prakriti in de-evolution, which is Buddhi. That is becoming purer and purer. Why? We want to make it so calm, so pure, just like a quiet lake, so that the reflection of the moon is seen without any disturbance. Getting it? The whole practice of yoga is for that. We want to get rid of all these aspects just to see this clear image. Is that clear? We shouldn't be spending so much of time because this is a conceptual aspect. This will take a long time for you to understand. I'm trying my best to put it in simpler form to help you understand. But here the meaning of the sutra is the drashta drishimatraha. So drashta is the seer, drishimatara is being the witness. Purusha is being the witness of whatever the Prakriti is doing. Okay, Purusha's nature is such that it is a witness, it is pure. Though it is pure, it is seeing all that which Buddhi is doing. Right? It is able to be a witness of all that which Buddhi is doing. That is Anupashchaha. It is able to witness all the aspects which Buddhi is doing. That part is called as Anupashchaha, which is the Purusha is being presented with all the aspects. So whatever the Buddhi is doing, Purusha will oversee all those aspects, all those cognitions which are happening in the Buddhi. Everything will be witnessed by the Purusha, but it doesn't partake or get involved with anything that is happening actually. It is just a witness. Okay, so just like there are so many things happening in the lake, there are fishes, there are other things, there are other organisms, there are ripples in the water. So is the moon getting affected because of the changes in the surface of the lake? The moon never gets affected. The moon will still be there, the same. What is getting affected is the surface of the lake because of the activity in the lake. Getting it? So, yeah.
Here Purusha means Atma only, na?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Ma'am,
So,
what's the surface of lake here?
mind.
Prakriti?
Buddhi. Yes, Buddhi is what? Prakriti's evolute, right? We saw that Prakriti has given rise to all the 23 aspects, elements, na? Tattvas. Sakshi. Prakriti has
Yes,
given
ma'am.
rise to Buddhi, Ahankara, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, and then the Sattvic Ahankara combines with Rajas to form the 10 Karmendriyas, Jnanendriyas in the mind. Then it combines with, the Rajas combines with Tamasic Ahankara to give rise to the 5 Tanmatras, which in turn give rise to the 5 Panchamahabhutas. Right? What are all these aspects? These are the mutations which are created in Prakriti, and all these evolutes are formed. Okay, so the changes are happening in all these evolutes, but nothing is happening to the Purusha. Purusha remains pure, just like I told you, the moon remains the moon. There's nothing, no change in the moon. The change is in the surface of the lake. Okay, why there are fishes jumping here and there? There's some kind of wave forming because of the breeze on the surface. Okay, there's somebody riding in the lake because of which there's a disturbance. Okay. Yeah. So,
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. 21st Sutra is the purpose of the objects of perception. So whatever we perceive, whatever, be it an object or a non-object, be it an idea also, be it anything that the Buddhi is cognizing, okay, be it anything that the Buddhi is coming in contact with, that should actually be there for serving the purpose of Purusha. Whatever the Buddhi is cognizing, the objects of the perception, whatever the Buddhi is cognizing, all those aspects are supposed to be serving the purpose of Purusha. Okay, this is what the sutra says. So everything that is an evolute of Prakriti is only meant to serve that Purusha. Which Purusha? The Purusha that is existing in every living being. So if you sum it up, there are as many Purushas as there are beings, living beings. Okay, be it humans or non-humans, there is a Purusha existing. Humans will have the discriminatory buddhi in it. All the other creatures will not have buddhi. Humans will accrue karmashaya. The other organisms don't have karmashaya. Okay, so that prakriti which we see around us, everything that we are formed of, is only to serve that Purusha, the pure consciousness, the Atma, the soul. All these words are synonyms of Purusha. The seer, drashta, grahitra, Purusha, Atma, soul, these are all synonyms for the word Purusha only. Okay, so the Prakriti that we see, the nature, the primordial nature that we understood, that primordial nature's purpose is only and only to serve that Purusha, So each one of us has a Purusha, a soul, right? So we see that Prakriti that we are experiencing is meant only for the Purusha inside. Tadartha, tadartha. What is tadartha? Tad means that. What? The aspect, the purpose. Okay. Artha means the sense. Okay. The sense of having all the evolutes of Prakriti is only to serve the Purusha. Tadartha eva drishyasyatma. Eva is alone. So the evolutes of Prakriti alone. Drishyasyatma. Okay, drishyasya, of perception, that which comes into perception of the Purusha, are only to serve the Purusha. Atma is Purusha only. Okay, Atma is the self, the essence, Purusha. Okay, so it is very simple. The sutra, the purpose of the Prakriti is to serve the Purusha. Now, from the previous classes, we understood that. What is the purpose of Purusha? Can one of you quickly tell me? I think we discussed this in the previous class. What is the purpose of Purusha?
Bhoga, Apavarga.
Very good. Whoever has said that, very good. So Bhoga and Apavarga are the purpose of Purusha. Now we can, the Purusha either can be led into Bhoga or can be led into Apavarga. Okay, the purpose of Purusha is either Bhoga or Apavarga. So as long as the purpose of the Purusha is met, the Prakriti will exist for that Purusha. Once the purpose of the Purusha has been met, the Prakriti will no longer function for that Purusha, only for that Purusha. Now, you might have the question whether the Prakriti completely ceases to exist for everybody else. No, the Prakriti will continue to exist. But for this Purusha, which Purusha? The soul within you, within me, the soul. So for example, I am the Purusha. There is a soul inside me. So if the purpose of my soul is met, I won't be interested in any of the aspects of Prakriti. Getting it? If the
What do you mean? What do you mean by Bhoga and Apavarga?
Bhoga means that which we experience, which creates pleasure and pain. Bhoga creates pain and pleasure. Anything
Apavarga means?
Apavarga means that which leads to liberation or moksha.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, if the purpose of the Purusha is met, then the Purusha won't be interested in the Prakriti anymore because the purpose is met. Right? Understanding?
Yes.
The object, the Prakriti will definitely not cease to exist. It will continue to exist and keep serving the other Purushas. It will continue to exist and keep serving the other Purushas. Okay. So
It's
it is
like a cab drive, ma'am. We leave the cab, we go off, but the cab continues to serve somebody else.
yeah, the cab continues to serve somebody else. Like a train, you take a train, you board a train, you reach your destination, but the train doesn't cease to exist. You leave the train, but the train doesn't cease to exist, right? It will serve the purpose of some other passenger, isn't it? Exactly in the same way, the purpose of the Prakriti is only to serve that Purusha. If the purpose is met, then the Purusha and Prakriti get separated. Okay, so when the Purusha is led into Apavarga, there is a separation of Prakriti and Purusha. Now, what happens if the Purusha is pushed into Bhoga?
Attachment, ma'am, all problems, karma, Shreya.
Exactly. So the Purusha has to go through, the Purusha has to see whatever the evolutes of Prakriti are offering. It will be a witness to the pain, the pleasure, the karmashaya accumulating, the vipaka state, then the jati, ayu, bhoga. Getting it? All these aspects. Clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the next sutra is about the what happens to the Prakriti after liberation. What happens to the Prakriti after liberation? It's a very logical sutra, right? After the previous sutra, now we said that the Purusha, the purpose of the Prakriti is to meet. The purpose of the Prakriti is just for meeting the requirement of the Purusha, right? Once its purpose is met, what happens to the Prakriti? I answered this question when I was explaining the previous sutra. Kritartham pratinashtam apya anashtam tadanya sadharanatvat. Now, kritartham is who? Kritartham means the one whose purpose is accomplished. The Purusha whose purpose is fulfilled. That Purusha's purpose is fulfilled. Prati is towards. Okay, towards. Nashtam is that object has dissolved. It's no longer relevant for that Purusha. Nashtam. So that evolute of Prakriti or the Prakritic aspect has dissolved. It is destroyed for that Purusha. Api, although Anashtam, for that Purusha it is dissolved, but for the other, it is not destroyed. The Prakriti doesn't get destroyed. Tat is that. Anya is other. For the others, it does not get destroyed. Sadharanatvat, on account of being common. The train is common for millions of passengers, right? The passenger reaches the destination and boards out of the train. But the train continues to operate for other passengers, isn't it? Because it's a common mode of transport. Right? So, kritartham, a person whose purpose is met, whose purpose is fulfilled. For that person, the train is no longer needed. So that aspect of Prakriti is dissolved for that person. But for the others, because Prakriti is common for everybody, it is not destroyed for the others. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, clear.
Yeah. So each sutra, we can have a big debate discussion on each of the sutras, like taking so many examples and trying to understand it in a deeper and deeper way. But from an examination point of view, it is of no use. Okay, we'll just be spending time. But from an examination point of view, this is what the sutra says. The words in the sutra are important. If you understand that much, you can answer the questions. Okay, I'm putting up examples because it becomes easier for you to understand. Okay, some relatable examples. Now, why this union of Prakriti and Purusha happens? I think I spoke about it multiple times, right? I spoke about the union. Which union? Union of evolutes of Prakriti and Purusha. Why
Yes,
does
ma'am.
it happen?
Avidya, ma'am.
Yeah. So the sutra is Swa Swami Shaktyoho. What is Swa? Swa is related to the object which the Purusha is possessing, the cognizer is possessing. Whatever is presented by the Buddhi, that is what is shown to the seen by the Purusha. And who is the master of all this? What is the purpose of the Prakriti? To serve the master. Who is the master? The Purusha is the master. Right? So the object, whose master, okay, the power of the object and its master, okay, Swarupa, one's essential nature. Okay, so how you put it together is of the two forces of what two forces of the object of one's own and the Purusha himself. You know, the evolutes of Prakriti all belong to the Purusha because he is the master. Because of him only those evolutes have been created, right? Those evolutes have been created for the purpose of serving the Purusha. Now, how I can help you in understanding this aspect is, though there are so many things which are part of Prakriti, but for that Purusha, see, only those evolutes are created and we'll be able to understand only certain aspects. Though there is whole lot of universe, there's cosmos and everything, but our understanding limits only to the purpose for which we have come into existence. We cannot understand anything more than that. Okay, so Swami, those objects or the evolutes of Prakriti, whose master is Purusha, Shaktyoho, of the power of these two, Swarupa. Swarupa means one's own nature or the essential form. Okay, Upalabdhi is discovering. Upalabdhi is making it available, or I can say finding it, realizing something. Okay, that is Upalabdhi. Hetuhu is the cause. Hetu is the cause. Samyogaha, union. Samyogaha is the union, or both the Prakriti and Purusha come together. Why they come together? Because they have to meet a purpose. What is the purpose of the union of Purusha and Prakriti is to experience the essential nature and to achieve in themselves the powers of Purusha and Prakriti. So those two forces, which is Swa and Swamin, okay, those two forces which are Buddhi and Purusha, those two forces, they both unite. The Buddhi and Purusha unite. The union of these two has only one end, which is the realization of the true nature, whereupon that union ceases. What is the essential part of the union of these two? The essential part of these two is the realization of the true nature. So when the true nature is realized, true nature of coming together is realized, at that point the union ceases. Okay, the union ceases because its purpose is met. So the ultimate reason for which Purusha and Prakriti come together is for realizing the true nature of Purusha. Once that true nature is realized, then the union of the Purusha and Prakriti ceases. Okay, Swarupa here implies the different darshanas that we have, like the perceptions that the Buddhi has. Okay, or you can, for now, you can just think Swarupa is one's own nature or one's own form. Upalabdhi is finding, discovering, like realizing. What is the whole point of both of them coming together? It is to realize the essential truth. It is to realize the true nature of Purusha, Only for that the Prakriti and Purusha come together. But because of our karmashaya, because of the kleshas, because of our vrittis, vasanas, samskaras, all these aspects, we don't meet that purpose, and we take many births, those multiple births. When that the realization happens, it's also called as fructification, okay, or fruitification, okay, or fruition. When that fruition happens, like realization of the Purusha's essential nature happens, that is when the Purusha gets completely separated from the Prakriti. Okay, now you might have the question, at what point did this union happen? Somebody answered this question saying that because of avidya there was a union between Purusha and Prakriti. Now, even before an evolute of Prakriti is formed, how will that union happen? Something has to exist, right? Where is that avidya existing?
In Rajas Tamas Sattva, ma'am?
Huh?
In the gunas, the Rajas Tamas Sattva? No?
It is existing as a samskara. Okay. So we are born with some prarabdha karma, right? We are born because of our prarabdha karmas, right? Whatever we have accrued in the karmashaya, if the karma's samskara is so strong, it is so strong that it has to manifest. That samskara's power will help in creating the formation of the union. Okay, that samskara itself is avidya. Getting it? That samskara is so strong that it has to take a manifested form. So you get that link now from where it is happening. That is why we are born to a certain set of people in a certain place. We have certain experiences. We have some kind of responsibilities, all because of that.
Ma'am, when you say after that union ceases, here we can go back to the third sutra, no, ma'am. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. When the union
Yes.
exists. Huh? Okay, ma'am.
Yes, absolutely. When the union ceases, the Purusha, we will be able to dwell in our own sweet Swarupa. Okay, and we don't take birth again.
We have to separate from Purusha from Prakriti.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So that is when we'll be able to dwell in our own pure consciousness. And that consciousness doesn't need anything. Does it need the help of Prakriti really? It doesn't need. It only needs the help of Prakriti to realize itself. Once the realization happens, what is the whole point of messing up with the Prakriti? Only when the mind is messed up, we need the help of Prakriti to get untangled. But when we already have untangled everything, and we now know that we have no use of Prakriti, because you understand that it is not necessary, then you can let go whatever Prakriti is offering. That is when you don't need to take birth. When you have a desire, when you have that inclination for something, that is when you take birth. Clear with this? Swaswami Shaktyoho. So the power of the object and the power of the master, when they both unite, okay, and it becomes available. What becomes available? The aspect of coming to the realization or finding one's own true nature of why one have the Prakriti and Purusha have come together. That is the meaning of this sutra. When one realizes that purpose, then the union will automatically separate. Okay, but as long as that realization doesn't come, one will have to go through what Prakriti is giving, and will keep building on the karmashaya and everything. Okay, that's why you see in the samadhi aspects also, they've clearly see how they are starting from yamas, niyamas, then they are going. See, yamas and niyamas are also mental training, right? One is training their mind and body to behave in a certain way. Asana also is the same thing. You're trying to make your body conducive for the practices which are coming next, like pranayama, pratyahara. You're making your body more stable and strong for those practices. Then you understand the subtler aspects, make your body even stronger to experience the higher truth through pranayama. Then dharana, you're enabling yourself to start focusing on one particular aspect. Why? Because all the other things are nonsense. We don't need them. All the other aspects are of no relevance. That is why dharana is done on one aspect. Then dhyana, after the 100% practice and mastery of dharana, we get into dhyana, which is a continuous ability to focus without any interruption. Like, you don't force yourself or try to bring yourself back into the meditation. It automatically happens. That is dhyana. And that dhyana, when you do it for a prolonged period, goes into the state of samadhi. Okay, and we have seen the states of samadhi, right? In the previous chapter, we have seen the states of samadhi. So when we train ourselves to that level, we get into the first stage of sampragnata samadhi, which is savitarka, right? And then savichara, then sa ananda, asmita. Then after the sa asmita, we go into asampragnata samadhi. Got it? So it's a long journey, but why all this is, you're cutting down every kind of thread that is dangling, and you don't want it. You want to trim it, and totally cut it out. Okay, so you're training yourself for that through the practices of yoga. Okay, so this discussion will go on. We'll go to the next sutra. That is what the 23rd sutra said. Now they're coming to it. We always understood this. What is the cause of the union is avidya. Okay, the cause of the union of Prakriti and Purusha is avidya, because avidya is lingering in our samskaras. We desire certain things, and that when we are passing away, also we have a whole load of desires. We don't let go those desires. We are very strong with those, and those desires and the past, the balance sheet of what good and bad we did, all those things will kind of fructify and give us the jati, ayu and bhoga. Okay, that avidya takes the form of the union, and due to avidya will come into some form because of the past merits or the demerits. Tasya hetur avidya. Tasya is what? Of that union which is caused between Prakriti and Purusha. Hetuhu, the cause of that union. What is the cause of that union? Avidya. What is avidya? Avidya is nothing but the ignorance that we have. So when we understand that all these evolutes are only the means to help the person realize the Purusha, then we fall on track. As long as we don't understand that, we get entangled and get into bhoga, and that leads to pleasure and pain. Getting it? So the cause of the union is avidya. The root cause of the union is avidya. So all these things, the past 2 or 3 sutras that we have seen, are all saying the same thing. The purpose of the union is for meeting the Purusha's aim. Okay, and the reason for the union is avidya. Okay, it's trying to reiterate those points again and again through various ways. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
What time is it? Yeah, today we have some more time, but the battery in my phone is low. Okay. So who wants to explain? Okay, let me pick. I'll stop presenting. Shuja, do you want to explain the 20th Sutra?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
So
Chant the
20th.
Sutra and explain it word by word.
Okay. दृष्टा दृश्यमात्रः शुद्धोऽपि प्रत्ययानुपश्यया. So drishta means the seer, Purusha. Drishi is the power of seeing. Matra means only. Shuddha means pure. Api means even though. Pratyaya means the ideas, the which buddhi is cognizing. And Anupashya means the witnesses.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in this sutra, Patanjali is saying that the seer is the near witness, even though cognition lies with buddhi. Like Purusha is very close to buddhi. Actually, buddhi is doing everything, but we see it as Purusha is doing everything because Purusha is very closer to buddhi.
Yes.
So, for example, when we see the reflection of moon in the lake, so we think that if the river is not clear or disturbed, we see a distorted image of the moon. So, and we think that moon itself is distorted, but actual moon is not distorted. Similarly, the Purusha is very pure, but because of our seeing in that reflection in the buddhi, we think that all this is happening in the Purusha.
Right.
But Purusha is separate and every gunas are in the buddhi only.
Yes. Yes. Is that clear to everybody? So we'll go to the next one. Shravani, do you want to explain the next one? 21st Sutra.
Yes, my lord. Tadartha means for the sake of the Purusha. Eva means alone, and Vishyasya of the scene of nature. Atma is the nature. So for the sake of the Purusha alone, this Prakriti exists. All evolutions of Prakriti is to serve that Purusha only. If the purpose of that Purusha is reached, then that Purusha and Prakriti will get separated.
Yes.
So Purusha, the Prakriti exists only for the sake of that Purusha only.
Yeah. So the purpose of Purusha is Bhoga and Apavarga.
Bhoga and Apavarga.
Yeah.
And Prakriti is to serve that Purusha only.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Well, the next sutra, the 22nd sutra, who would like to explain? Rajeshwari ji, do you want to do it?
Yeah, I will try, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, Kritardham Pratinashtam Api Anashtam Tadanya Sadharanatvat. Kritardham means whose purpose has been fulfilled or met. Nashtam means basically we are speaking about Prakriti, which is dissolved once it is its purpose, whatever for what it was meant, its purpose is over, it will get dissolved. Api, for that Purusha, it is over. Anya, for others, it is still happening. So once the Purusha has been served and the purpose is fulfilled, for that particular Purusha, the Prakriti is no longer existing, but Prakriti is still existing to serve others. Am I right, ma'am?
Yes, yes,
thank
good,
you,
good,
ma'am.
good, good. Yeah. Sarika, do you want to explain the 23rd one?
Yeah. So the 23rd one says that Swaswami Shaktiyoho Swarupopalabdhi Hetuhu Samyogaha. So here Swa is one's own, Swami is the master or Purusha. So of the two powers, the union of Swarupa, the purpose of union of Purusha and Prakriti is to experience the nature. And to that is being explained here that the even before avidya exists in our samskara, so that is why sorry. So the here the union of Purusha and Prakriti is to experience the essential nature. And we have seen that why this union happens, it is due to the avidya.
I think ma'am left.
Yeah, I think she got disconnected. I think we are done, no, with all the sutras. Yeah, one more is there. 24 is there.
I think ma'am's battery is down, maybe
Yeah, madam.
because her battery.
Yeah, she's back. Ma'am is back.
Yeah, sorry about that. My battery got drained. Okay. So, Sarika, did you explain it? I would like to listen.
Yeah, so the purpose, we have seen that the purpose of union of Purusha and Prakriti is to experience the nature, essential nature.
Hmm.
The here the samyoga of the both Purusha and Prakriti is to know the Swarupa. Swarupa Labdhi Hetu. In order to get the Swarupa Labdhi, I mean to know the real nature is the union. And we have seen that union is due to the avidya.
Yes. Lipalika, would you want to try the 24th sutra?
Okay, ma'am. The cause of Purusha and Prakriti only for the Avidya, and that Avidya is our Prarabdha Sanskara is called Avidya. So only here is saying Patanjali Tasya Hetura Avidya means
See,
that
Prarabdha is not mentioned in the sutra, but why I gave you the reference of Prarabdha is now before the union of Purusha and Prakriti, how will the union manifest? There should be something lying, right? Where is avidya lingering? We are saying avidya is the cause, but where is avidya? Avidya will come through our past sanskaras only. What has accrued through the past journey that we have made, all that will manifest into the union of Purusha and Prakriti.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. So clear with all the sutras. Sakshi Jaiswal,
Yes, ma'am.
did you understand?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
I
I have to.
Can you tell me the meaning of apavarga?
Um,
What is the purpose of Purusha? What is the purpose of Purusha?
ma'am, to attain the liberation.
What is that called?
Ma'am, sorry, I was not getting the word.
Apavarga. The
Upper.
purpose of
Okay.
the purpose of Purusha is either bhoga or apavarga. Right? Those who don't realize go into the bhoga way. Those who understand, they go into the apavarga way.
Okay.
You have to pay attention. You have to pay attention. If you're not following, if you ask me, I'll answer, right? If you don't raise a question, how will I know whether you understood or not? If you don't understand, you should always ask instead of just staying quiet.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, ma'am.
I think ma'am is disconnected.